Alrighty, Chantel. Hey, thanks for reaching out. Again, it's kind of hard for me to know how best to help you unless you kind of give me some specific questions. So the more specific, problem types, examples, something that you're not clicking with, really helps me. But let's go ahead and look at this lesson quick. And I went ahead and opened a self-check just to look at some of the types of problems they might throw at you. So quick summary. This is from the lesson material. Parabola. We've seen these before. Excuse me. Should be pretty straightforward. Got our vertex, right? Either the lowest point or the highest point. We've got the focus. There's two of them here, those two dots. This lattice rectum, honestly, not a big deal. Well, I'll show you how to find it. I'm not concerned about it. And the directrix down here, just equation of a line. Equation of a quadratic, of course, we've seen this before. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Ax squared quadratic, bx linear, c is the constant. We've done previous lessons with that. And then vertex form, very useful form. HK is the vertex. It's built right in there. So here's a summary of information, this chart here. I would encourage you, write this down or keep this open as you're working through the self-check. Chantel, you don't need to remember all these things, so I wouldn't stress about that. Honestly, the vertex is something you ought to know. Most of this other stuff, not that big a deal. I mean, this is good just to kind of know some general, kind of what characteristics, what's going on with a parabola. But none of this other stuff I expect you to remember, and I wouldn't stress about it, okay? So let's go look at a few problem types. Find the vertex and length of the lattice rectum for the parabola. Negative 2x equals y squared. So let's make it match one of these, okay? So I'm going to divide that 2 over. So x equals negative 1/2 y squared. Now it looks like this first one, doesn't it? So it's opening actually to the right. It's not asking us that, but just to kind of imagine what's going on. Well, what's the vertex? If I look at this equation, notice I don't see a k, I don't see an h, so it's just 0, 0. Okay, they aren't there, so it's 0, 0. So my vertex would be 0, 0 for this one. Lattice rectum, let's look down here, okay? 1 over a, well, what's a? So a is this value right here, isn't it? So it is negative 1/2. The lattice rectum is the absolute value, so it's just positive because it's a length. 1 over a. So what is 1 over 1/2? Well, that's the same as 1 times 2 over 1. So that is 2. So this length would be 2 units. So again, just use this information to guide you. Trust the equations. Find the focus, okay? So we've got an equation here. Let's find the focus. We're looking right here. And let's see, we've got y equals, so we're using this one. So it's h is our first part. So h is right inside here, isn't it? So it's 5, but notice the sign's positive, so that means h was actually negative. That's what made that. So this is going to be negative 5 is our x value. And then k plus 1 over 4a. Let's write that here. So k plus 1 over 4a is going to be my y value of the focus. So let's figure that out. K is 9. 1 over, well, what's a? A is 1/20th. So let me do that over here. So 1 over 4 times 1/20th. 4/20ths would be 1/5. So that's the same as 1 over 4/20ths, or 1/5, which is the same as 1 times 5 over 1. So that is 5. So 9 plus, oh, I just solved all that out. Okay, so 9 plus 5 equals 14. And so 14 is our y value there for our focus, okay? How about this one? Find the vertex length of the lattice rectum. So this is very similar to that first problem, except we've got a little bit more going on. So it's x equals, so we're using this one. Our vertex is just hk, so notice h is out here. So here's my h value, it's 10. K is the one inside, the sign's going to fill backwards in this one, so it's going to be negative 10, isn't it? And the lattice rectum, again, we're going to come down here, so 1 over a. A is 1/6, and this one is negative, but we're doing absolute value, so we don't have to worry about that. So 1 divided by 1/6 equals 6. So my length is 6 units, and we're good to go. Okay, now this is a process that I really do feel is valuable. Some of this lattice rectum and everything, I just don't think it's that big a deal. This is one I would like you to really feel good about. So we're going to change this into vertex form. We do that by completing the square. Let me show you how I like to set it up. So x squared minus 14x plus something. And I'm just going to scoot that 60 over here, okay? We've completed the square before to solve quadratics. Similar process, except we're going to do everything on the same side. What goes in my box here? Well, half of 14 squared, so that's 7 squared is 49. Now this is a big step, Chantel. Watch what I do. Instead of adding 49 over here, I'm just going to subtract 49 from here. So I added 49, subtracted 49 from the same side, so really I added 0. By the way, that's the same, right? If I just put plus 49 over here and then subtract it over, it's the exact same thing. So now let's just clean this up. This will factor down. It's a nice perfect square. X minus 7 squared, 60 minus 49 is 11. And there we go. See if we can find one of those. X minus 7 plus 11. So that answer looks like a winner right there. Okay, find the directrix. So directrix is right here. X equals, so we're using this column again. So we need h minus 1 over 4a. So h is 10, right? It's out there. And let's figure out what a is. A is negative 1/4. So let's put that together. So 10 minus 1 over 4 times negative 1/4. Let's clean that up. So that's 10 minus 1 over, well, that would be negative 4/4. So that's negative 1. So 10 plus 1 equals 11. And that would be our, okay, now find the directrix. So it's x equals for this one. So let's be careful. They do have two of them. So x equals 11 for this one. Okay? Chantel, hope that helps. Again, don't hesitate. Work through it. Just try a self-check. See what they throw at you. Remember, you can do those as many times as you want. Don't be fearful of just opening those up. Try them. See what kind of problems they throw at you. Because sometimes in the lesson, you'll see stuff like, what in the world? And I've removed some of those problems for things I don't think are as important. Or I've tried to. It's still a work in progress, as this is our first run through this course. But I hope that helps, Chantel. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Keep smiling. Keep working hard.